Alright, so if you're watching now, we're starting a little bit early. I'll actually start going through um, how we do things here in the PEL here in just a minute. I'm just gotta get up the link and get it up in the chat. But I'm not expecting anyone to be looking right now. We hadn't gone live in a long time. But if you do happen to come on and check us out, this is the PEL Primetime Elite League. I am Commish Ace Coach 704, and we do have one opening for the Jets. I know they suck, but this is a really great league. We're doing some really cool things this year. We'll have custom draft classes with our own stories. As I'll try to post the link in our chat room on GroupMe, which is what we use. What in the world? I am trying to copy a link and it's giving me a wanting to post a picture. That's crazy. So let me get this set up while I ramble on saying nothing. Copy. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get started because I do see one person on. Alright, so we'll see if anyone else jumps on, but please feel free to post your comments and thoughts and all that good stuff. Alright, so we're on the main franchise. Hey man, you need to get your ass back in the league, man. We got an opening. Get back in the league. Send me a message or something. I'm serious. Alright, anyways. We're in the franchise main page here, and what we've got here is we've got pretty much the same setup as last year. Of course, you got your player contracts to negotiate, scouting players that we talked about already, some of the scout stories, or I'm sorry, not scout stories, the players that are going to be storyline players. We already have met a couple of those, and there's a couple more already in the draft class ready to go. You may get a sneak peek at those. You're going to scout them anyway, so we might do that. Of course, you got training. Training's the same as last year. No big deal there. Of course, you got your game right there. Then, of course, you got injuries right there. So just for the heck of it, let's take a look at, if you're going to watch this, you get a little sneak peek at how some of these guys look. And maybe you'll guess on who some of these storyline guys are. I won't say who is who, but if you watch the first storyline story, you may see a couple of, familiar names. And there are going to be some names that are storyline guys that I've already scouted. Are they good or not? That'll be up to you. But scouting is pretty much the same this year. Like I said, the biggest difference is the draft class. So if you were, if you were playing on your own or whatever, you wanted to edit your draft class, you see the L3 at the bottom of the screen where it says edit players, you would hit that, and we'll just hit it anyway just for the heck of it. And you see that option come up, edit draft class, and that's the way I usually edit the draft class. I'll just hit that, edit the draft class, and it'll save locally. And then once we start the league, I'll put the draft class into the league on the week 3. Okay? So that's how we do that. And we'll be doing custom draft classes this year with those storylines. Alright, so the big thing with leagues, of course, is the settings. And I'm going to go jump into the settings right now. And we're going to start with the sliders, which is, of course, always a good thing to know about. Well, actually, I'll start with league settings. We'll just work our way down. Alright, so league settings for us are as follows. We are an all-pro league, and you see the game speed is fast. Game style is simulation, of course, and we do allow coaches and owners. Alright, so the big thing I'll say on this, that you get more incentives with being an owner if you meet certain requirements, like the incentives that we talked about before for articles and such. You do get extra rewards if you are an owner. But if you want to be a coach and you don't care about the extra stuff the owners get, that is totally fine too. And I don't care if it's a current coach or create a coach. We don't have a rule with that. I really don't care about the little bonus you get from using a, normal coach. It's no big deal to me. Instant starter, that's no big deal. It's off. Trade deadline is on, which is on a week 8 trade deadline. So there will be no week 14 trades in this league. Only human trades, no trading with CPU. Hopefully we don't have many CPU teams. We do have the one opening with the Jets. And we're trying to get someone for that. Coach firing is off. Of course, salary cap's on. No relocation this year. Last year I was the only team that relocated, so we just went ahead and turn it off this year because I'm not moving the Panthers. Of course, injuries are on. We do turn off pre-existing injuries, so all the injuries you see happening in the NFL now, don't worry about that. That will not be a factor in our league. Squad stealing's on. The thing about squad stealing, and we turn it on in week 2 of the regular season, and the reason for that is coming out of the preseason, we give you 1 week to adjust your practice squads accordingly. You may have a chance or miss a chance if you didn't get to do anything in preseason to set your practice squad, so we give you that extra time to do so at that time. And then week 2 it'll turn on, and then it's open season pretty much for practice squad stealing. Player progression frequency end of the season, like you see it on the screen, is for CPU teams, doesn't impact users, but I will show you what does impact users with progression here in just 1 second. Clock management, we voted on the time. We settled on 7 minutes. Accelerated clock is on, and then minimum play clock time, we're running down to 17. Mainly because there's some new animations this year with quarterbacks and making audibles. For those of you that love coming to the line and making 16 audibles, that ain't gonna happen this year, man. With all the quarterback animations, that takes time off your play clock, as it should in real life. So I appreciate that change that happened. But we got minimum play clock time at 17. Alright, so user team help, customize, everything's manual. Make sure that is your setting also, so nothing crazy happens with your team. Team settings. Tutorial pop-ups, I got them on right now. This is just a test franchise. I usually turn them off. Make sure you turn off auto progress players, because you see what it says on the screen. When set to on, the CPU will automatically progress your team's players throughout the season. And what happens is, it's a little different this year, and we'll go through XP and skill points and the difference in that, but just make sure that is off so you don't lose a chance to progress your players the way you want to progress them. Okay, that's very important. Alright, and then fill roster, make sure you got that off. Alright, because you see when it's set to on, CPU automatically signs free agents. Alright, so you want to be in control of your team, make sure that is off. Alright, now sticking with settings, I'll show you what team settings look like if you hadn't seen it yet. That's just pretty much the basic stuff right there that you control for your own comfort. Alright, so now let's jump to the XP sliders. We had a vote on this, and you see XP sliders, everything will be at 200% across the board, okay? I'm in my 2nd season with this test franchise, and I don't think it's been overpowering. I haven't had a guy that wasn't already good become, someone that's just out of this world like we used to have last year, okay? So the vote was 200%, that's what we'll be on. For XP sliders. Now, here's the big one, gameplay sliders. Now, with gameplay sliders in the PEL, we always have what I call an open discussion. And we try to test these things out, and we try to make sure that they are accurate and they are fitting what the league wants. So last year we had a pretty big vote on what the league wanted, and we settled on the league wanting good run blocking and good pass coverage. Alright, so that's what we are. We are a good run blocking league, we are a good pass coverage league, so keep that in mind, and our sliders reflect that. Right now, I've got everything else set at 50, and I'm playing through some games, and I know I'm going against CPU, but I'm going to tell you right now that the one thing that we may have to dial down a little bit is pass coverage. because it is tough to throw the ball with these sliders the way it is right now. And I think everything else has been pretty good as far as the accuracy, QB, pass blocks have been pretty accurate. I think we might have to bump up wide receiver catching just a bit. I'm seeing a lot of drops on contact, which some is cool, but I think it's a little high. So we may bump up catching a little bit. Of course, run blocking at 65 so far has been not bad. We may bump it up a little bit more based on the feedback we get on that. Fumbles are lower to 30. Trying to decrease the frequency of fumbles. I know it's been somewhat of an issue in some of the feedback we've received in the league chat. Pass defense reaction time is at 70, and I think that might be a little high with the improvements that they've made with the AI in terms of pass coverage, so we may dial that down a little bit. Interceptions on 50, I think that's fine. And like I said, pass coverage is at 70. We may dial that down in conjunction with pass defense reaction time, okay? And then tackling at 60, tackling this year has been really good. We may dial that back a little bit. I keep tackling at 60 to try to kind of match the run blocking slider to keep it even at 65. But I think with the improvements that they've made with tackling, we may dial that back some. And then CPU skill, we don't play CPU, so that really doesn't matter. Then you see special teams always try to make field goals a little more challenging like they are in the NFL. We slide that back a little bit to 40. Punt power, no big deal at 50 right there. Punt accuracy, try to put that back a little bit at 40. I think it's a little easy to make coffin quarter punts, so we make that a challenge. Then kickoff power at 50 is fine. Big thing right here, injuries, 15. Doing some research on Operation Sports. Most sim leagues feel like 15 with injuries is pretty accurate. You get enough to feel it, but it's not overbearing like it is when it's at default. Default injuries, I think, are way crazy. So we put it down at 15. So you'll have a couple. I've had a couple in the test franchise, but that's expected, you know. Fatigue at 65, I think has been good. It forces you to, like we said last year when we made this change, you want to use your whole roster like in real life. No one can just keep going forever when you're playing football. God knows I couldn't. And in the NFL, it's the same thing. So we make that higher for real-time subbing. And if someone's tired, you got to make sure you get them out. Because the biggest thing is when someone, and I keep saying this, and I wish someone would remember this, when you have tired players, they do not play to their ratings. They play below their ratings. I tried to ask Clint Oldenburg last year what was the formula for fatigue, and you just want to see your comment. Well, there you go. Thanks for your undying support there. But anyway, so I tried to find out what the formula was when players are tired and what their rating goes down to. I couldn't get an answer from them, but just keep that in mind. Fatigue guys, you want to make sure you get them out because they're not playing to their top level. And then minimum player speed threshold, we have it at 8, and that's pretty low. And that's just because you don't want, like we talked about, you don't want, you know, D tackles running down receivers and stuff. Even though I've seen it here and there, you do have some athletic D tackles, so I don't mind seeing it every now and then, but you don't want that to be a common thing, okay? And then with your penalties, you move them up to 51. The thinking on that is they actually happen. And I have, you know, I made a comment in the chat yesterday about CPU cheating, and I swear on every third down I converted against CPU, I would get a holding penalty. And I've seen all these happen. I've seen offsides from CPU. I've seen false starts. I've seen holding. Got defensive holding, one defensive holding. I got a pass interference. I hadn't seen a face mask yet though. That is one thing that we'll have to watch and monitor. But I think on 51 you get them, but you don't have it excessive. Comment, I wonder if they show their ratings change based on fatigue. You know, I haven't checked. That'd be a good thing to check while in game. Maybe it does show that. That'd be pretty cool. Offensive pass interference is on. Kick action interference is on. Blocking the back, I keep it at 50. Roughing the passer, I keep 50. And then everything else is on. Intentional grounding, roughing the kicker, and running into the kicker. So we are a true sim league, so all that stuff is on. Okay. Like I said, with the sliders, it's a feedback thing, and we do mess around with it. But remember what we stay true to: run blocking, pass coverage are the two things that are our must-haves. So we try to adjust the sliders, but like I said, pass coverage, pass defense will be dialed down. I'll test that a little more before we start on Saturday. All right. If you do have questions on sliders, you can always hit me in DM, and we can always have a discussion that way. So, of course, there's retire, then there's user teams. Of course, in the user teams, nothing's really changed. It's the same kind of thing, same actions that are available to you. Clear cap penalties, that is a bonus, remember, and it's a bonus incentive. If you hit enough articles on Daddy Leagues, you can have your cap penalties cleared at the end of the season. Very important when you go into that re-sign period. And then raise confidence to 50. If you were to bring someone in to a team that is open, I always raise confidence to 50 because that's the fair thing to do. They don't need to inherit somebody's mess on that. And then, by the way, I also do clear cap penalties for new people that come into the league, so they'll have to inherit that mess also. Storyline Sundays, we talk about news, and what I'll be doing is, for some of those, I'll be taking screenshots like this from the news tab and putting it into the Storyline Sunday video. That won't be live. That'll be a video that I produce, just like I did with the Storyline players. You'll hear my voice, and we'll have comments and some stories that go on with the news of the league right there. So that'll be a nice little cool thing, cool feature that way at the Storyline Sundays. We're really trying to beef that up this year and make that something special. And I think this combined with the draft class stories, I think Storyline Sundays is going to be really fun this year, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Then, like I used to do on Storylines last year, we'll go into stats, we'll analyze team stats, and then we'll really get into the analysis of the league, why people do so well, things of that nature. Then, of course, transactions. Big thing on transactions. I'm going to try to show you what happens when I do the draft class edit. You'll see every time that I edit the draft class, you'll see that it'll show that. And then it'll show you the player once you get down to it. Well, it was showing me, now it's not. But it used to show you the player that I would edit also in this thing here. So, like I said before about the draft, I am not going to draft my players. I'll let CPU pick my players. I think that's the fair thing to do because I am doing this. And like I said, I'll stream the draft to make sure that y'all see that I'm not choosing players. And you'll tell, because once we get into the draft, it'll go very fast when it hits my pick, because I'm just going to skip it and I'm going to keep it moving. Okay. So let's jump. I'm going to jump because this is just a test season. I don't really care how well I do. Before I jump, because I'm going to jump to the off season, we're going to show you how that flows. What do I want to see here? Make sure you look at your schemes. Okay, this is a big part of the game. And you see the scheme for the Panthers I have here is vertical zone run, and you see the scheme fit. It's very important when you're developing players that you get a scheme fit for your team that is the best fit, because you want to hit that percentage as high as you can, because the more players that you have in that scheme fit, the more XP those players are going to get. And you see the little puzzle piece right there. We're going to show you a player that fits the scheme, and you'll see the XP difference when we do that. So see vertical zone runs 82% for me, and then I scroll through, see multiple zone runs 65, and you look at the player types that you need to fit those schemes. That's going to be very important in developing players and in drafting players. You want to draft players that fit those schemes that you have on the screen, because if you don't, you're not going to get the maximum XP, and the XP goes to the skill points, and we're going to get into that in just a second. But you scroll through there, you see what you have, and you want to kind of work with that, okay? Vertical power run 78%, so that's not a bad fit either for me. And then think about it though. If there's a scheme that you're only missing someone, like in this, you're missing a fullback and a center. If that doesn't matter to you, then go with vertical power run. It's not as high as the other one, the zone run, but hey, you got a lot of stuff that you already need there. Same thing with defense. You see, base 4-3 is 87% scheme fit for me. That's what I run because I've got a lot of people that fit that scheme already. I'm only missing the outside linebacker and the left end. You know, that's 2 out of 11 positions. I can live with that. No big deal. So keep that stuff in mind when you're developing your team this year, because that is a big, big, big key thing, and I'm going to show you why in just a second. All right, so let's advance the week, and I'm going to show you why that is so important. All right, so now let's do our training. We go to training, and like I said, it's no different than last year. You see your guys right there, same setup, no difference there, and training is exactly the same. You just pick your gold ones, you know, usually to get your most XP out of. All right, and then you're going to start training. Did I hit play? Oh, man, I meant to sim that. All right, give me a second to get out of this. I was automatically on sim. But what's going to happen is when you go to sim it, of course, you're going to show your XP percentages. And when you see the XP percentages, you're going to see the scheme fit that goes with that. It's going to be a huge difference in terms of the XP you get just from doing the drill, and then the XP you get plus the scheme fit that goes with it. Alright, so let's get out of this real quick. Yeah. Alright, let's quit. Yes. Alright. So we're going to go back, we're going to sim that, and then you're going to see the XP percentages, and how important it is to have players that fit your scheme that you select. Alright. Let's try that again. Sim. There you go. Alright, so now we're going to scroll through these and we're going to take a quick look. Look at that defense. Those guys are developing so fast. And now, remember, we're already on 200%. So, inside zone, you see the guys get the XP based on their position in the depth chart. If you didn't know that, get more XP if you're a starter than you're a backup. But look now, look at the guys that fit my scheme. That's the little purple puzzle piece. They're getting 1,000 extra XP because they fit my scheme. That is crazy, man. So look at that. Darrell Williams is getting almost 2,000 XP points because he fits my scheme. But look, my center, Travis Bond, or whatever his name is, he's a rookie. He only got 884. McCaffrey, he's I think he's a superstar development, 1608, but he's not in my scheme. He's not a scheme player yet. So he doesn't get the bonus XP. So I miss out on all that. So you see my guys that aren't superstar getting that bonus XP, they're getting more XP than my superstar guy that doesn't fit my scheme. Look at my defense. Those guys right there. Look at Luke Kuechly. Look at him. He's a superstar guy. He's 1608, and he's getting 1246 on top of that because he's a scheme fit. So that's what you want. You want your superstar players, and then those scheme fits to hit, and then you really can build someone who can be really good. And then you see all that in the secondary. All those secondary guys fit my scheme. And they don't get a lot of XP from the drill, but you see all the XP they're getting from the bonus. So your real key this year, I mean, the drills help for the superstar guys, of course, but for your secondary guys, those guys have to fit your scheme if you want to develop them into pretty good players. So you see now, on top of that, these guys right here, they're all young guys for me. The only young guy that fits my scheme is Dante Jackson. He's quick development, but he's only getting 200 XP on the 200% XP slider. So XP sliders are not as important as your scheme fits, guys. So keep that in mind. That is very important this year in developing your guys. Alright. So I've said my piece on that. Now, let's see. Did we hit everything I wanted to there? Of course, salaries and free agency is all the same. Remember the waiver rule on free agents. If you cut someone, you have to wait a week before you try to re-sign them again, just like a waiver wire. When you join the league on Saturday, you can sign one free agent, excluding kickers and punters. So you can sign a kicker and a D-end if you wanted to, for example. Okay. Everything else in my team is pretty much the same right there. Regression is better. I have noticed that. It's kind of variable. Got a guy like Tom Brady who doesn't regress much from year to year, obviously, because he's so great. Then you got a guy like Matt Khalil who sucks and I had to cut in year 2. So just keep that in mind with regression. I don't think we have to make any special arrangements for that this year. Okay. So now we're going to advance to the off season. It's going to hurt because I was having a good year, but we may not make the Super Bowl anyway. So we're going to sim the off season, and we'll sim ahead. When we get to off season has pretty much been the same kind of deal. You re-sign you guys, you can franchise one, of course, and then you move into free agency. Remember, in free agency, you must offer at least 50 points to guys that you want. But I'll tell you, the first season of free agency I went through, those guys didn't sign in that third stage. Even when I offered them 50 points, which is decent money, they didn't sign. I don't think any of them signed at 50. So this year in free agency, if you want someone, you're going to have to pay them. There's no more lowballing them. We won't be allowed anyway, but still. You have to really pay them close to what they're worth to get them on your team, which is good. Because I think the lowballing stuff for veteran guys that can contribute was crap, to be honest with you. And then, of course, with the draft does look different. I like it. And we won't be in off-season loan. I just want to show you that it hadn't changed and kind of how we handle it. The off-season schedule is always posted when the Super Bowl is scheduled, so you can plan your off-season that way. If you're not going to be around, you can trade your picks and do all that good stuff. So here you go. We're in the re-sign period right here. You can see 16 players want to re-sign or have to be re-signed if I want to. And then it's the same deal right here. You see same setup last year, just different graphics. You scroll through and sign who you want to sign or who you don't want to sign. So forth, so on. They don't agree, you can franchise them, same deal. We're going to advance to the draft. It's going to screw my team up, but that's alright. So we'll show you how the draft looks, and then we'll wrap it up because we're getting to 30 minutes, and that's pretty much the max I try to do on the show. Just as, out of interest, I saw I lost one person. And a lot of people are watching the replay, so that'll be fun. So I'm going to try not to pick a storyline guy. Not to give that away. So we're going to start the draft.
The Jets are now on the clock.
So you see the setup this year. It's now got kind of like it was in Dallas last year. You got the team set up in the stage right there. What's going to happen is when the Jets make their pick, the player will come up on the screen and you'll see their rating. And I hope it's not a storyline guy, and it's not, thank goodness. So we're going to skip ahead to our pick.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
So we'll make our selection. And if it's a superstar guy, he's going to make a little cool entrance. I I do see. Oh, I see your question. I do see all the ratings, but like I said, I'm not making the draft picks, and I'm gonna tell you right now, there's so many ratings in there, I wouldn't be able to remember everything anyway. I mean, it's literally like 400 guys in the draft class. So I'm gonna pick a guy that I need, but I didn't scout. Let me see here. What do we need? We needed a lineman. Let's see here. This guy looks pretty good. He's not a storyline guy, so we're gonna take him. Well, we got a center. Well, see here, I'm talking through my fictional draft class here. Who did we not scout? Well, let's see. We needed a linebacker, but I scouted him. Well, anyway, let's take this guy. All right.
The Bears are now on the clock.
So we take Malik McCarthy, and you see he's a 77 overall. And he's quick development, so, you know, that's all right. It's not bad, but so you said I should pick, but not the storyline guys. I mean, I don't care, man. For me, it's a new challenge, and I like it, because I do want to give everyone a really good experience, and I enjoy doing the draft classes. It's a new thing that, I think other leagues will do it, but I think we are going to do it to a different degree. I haven't seen anyone else go to the level that I've done so far, but I think others will come with it. Some leagues kind of feel like they don't want to do it at all just because one person no one picks, but at the end of the day, it's about playing the game, and we may not do it all the time. I do want to do it for year one and see how it goes, see if everyone enjoys the storyline stuff. If they don't, if a lot of people don't get into it, then we'll just use the regular draft class. I mean, going through the regular draft classes, the guys are not bad.
The Rams are now on the clock.
I think there's a couple things that need to be adjusted, as usual with the draft class, but overall it's not bad using the classes that are already there. I think they're pretty balanced. So anyways, that's how the draft looks this year. We'll make one more pick just for the heck of it. I didn't really need a corner. I'll just grab somebody.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
Let's skip to our next pick.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
All right, make sure you don't look at the screen for that guy that just got picked. I'm going to have to make an adjustment now. He was a storyline guy. A little bonus there because you are watching. All right, we need, what else do we need? We needed let's see what linebacker's there. I need to take a scheme fit guy, but it's round 2. Oh, gosh, this sucks. We don't need a running back. Well, it's too early for a fullback. Well, we did scout this guy. We'll take him.
The Bears are now on the clock.
Alright, so he's 74 overall. Alright, so he's a deep threat guy, and we'll see his ratings. And, he ain't that great. So that really wasn't a great pick for me. But anyway, you see how the draft flows now. You see the setup. It's really cool. I like it. I think it's a lot better. And for us, like I said, I think with the storyline players, it's just going to enhance it even more. But anyways, I'm at 33 minutes, so we're going to wrap this up. Please watch it in replay if you didn't watch it live from the start. I think the coolest things we talked about were the sliders and then how the scheme fits different XP and everything. We'll start the league on Saturday. It'll be late morning when I send the invites out. I think most guys have their PSNs in their name, so it should go pretty quickly. Once again, you can sign one free agent. Doesn't include kickers and punters, so you can sign a kicker and a punter if you need it, and then one other guy like a DN, a receiver, or whatever it is. All right. And then I'll post the advanced schedule, of course, when I do that, and then the league will not start week 1 until that Tuesday. I believe that's the 21st. All right. So I hope everyone has the game by now. If not, you still got a couple more days to get it, and get ready to get going, man. All right, PEL Madden 19. This is PEL Live. Thank you guys for watching.